On this episode of Defining Wealth Beyond the Numbers, I sat down with Mike Ray and Sammie Blizzard of SNS Technologies for a conversation about entrepreneurship, technology, and building a business rooted in relationships. Mike founded SNS Technologies in 2010 with a vision of helping local businesses navigate an increasingly complex technological landscape. Over the years, Sammie joined the company and helped lead its growth into a trusted technology partner serving businesses throughout the Lowcountry. Together, they share the story behind the SNS Technologies, the lessons they've learned through the growth and change, and what it takes to build trust with clients over the long term. The conversation explores leadership, service, and the value of strong relationships. I hope you enjoy this conversation about business, technology, and defining wealth beyond the numbers. Mike, Sammie, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Yes, sir.
So I always start with the same question. I think it really helps determine people and what they do and later on in life. So tell me, Mike, what was your first job?
Well, first job in Myrtle Beach. We lived in a neighborhood, and I used to go around when I was like 10 or 11, probably 10 to about 14, and just cutting grass, washing cars. I'd knock on the door and just whatever you needed, I did it. And my first official job was at a grocery store, riding my bike a couple blocks. I only lasted 3 days.
That's probably a whole nother story, right?
Well, I was a bagger, and a lady got on to me about smashing her bread the previous week when I didn't work there. And the manager wouldn't hear me out, so I just left.
Okay, interesting. All right, so then you were bagging groceries, and then what was your progression from there?
Pretty much just went to high school, got through high school, and then went to college for computer science.
Okay.
And during college, I worked for a sports bar for about 4 years. Okay. And then right after college, worked for CompUSA. It was the pre-Best Buy of
I remember
IT.
them.
Yeah. Big box IT chains or computer chains.
Yeah.
Then got hired by a company called Data Medic out of New York when I lived in Charlotte. Then I left there for Hilton Head, an IT company hired me, and they didn't last. They went under after 6 months. I was going to haul my butt back to Charlotte, and I didn't because I had a girlfriend at the time, and
that's
Sammie's mom.
Yep.
So I guess she kept me there. But me and my buddy from college, I got him to come down, and we started a company called ICC Systems. We ran it for 10 years, and we sold it to a copier company in 2006. And we both worked there and then went our separate ways.
Wow. So a lot of entrepreneurship in there.
I think it wasn't designed or intentional. It's just the way the dice rolled.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when the people say you get lucky, I think you make your own luck. When things happen in your life, you just go with it and adjust and make it work.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to switch to you. Tell me, because you guys are family, right? Yep. What was your first job? What did he make you do first?
One of my first jobs I actually remember was at ICC, which was on Hilton Head.
Okay.
And one of his friend's daughters used to come in, and we had a lemonade stand outside of ICC Systems.
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurship. I like it.
So we did that like a couple days a week. I think we were like 10 maybe.
Yeah.
And then I did babysitting and, cut grass, things like that on the side, but I was lucky. I really didn't have to do a whole lot of work. My work was on the golf course.
Okay.
So I practiced and did most of my golfing through the summers and things like that, which generated a D1 golf scholarship in North Carolina.
Impressive.
After school, I came out and I actually worked at the big timeshare company on the island, in like the accounting department for a couple years. And then decided to kind of follow my high school sweetheart to Charleston, and worked at a massive healthcare facility, back spine place in Mount Pleasant. Grew up the ladder there for 6 years, and then he finally convinced me to come help him out and grow his business. So
how much convincing did it take?
Not much, because the lucky of his timing was right when I was pregnant.
Okay.
And I thought the leniency of working for a family business would be better for me as a mom as well. So that's kind of it was pretty easy.
Yeah, I got lucky, I think.
There you go. Yeah. I'm going to get into that in a second about the whole family dynamics. So what made you decide to set up SNS Technologies?
I guess it was more frustration. Is when I left the company that bought us out in the end of 2009, I looked at who was here in the area, and I honestly, there wasn't an IT company that had the integrity or the commitment to clients, or I just didn't want to tie my name to anybody that I saw locally. So instead of jumping in with a company I didn't believe in or didn't have the same, I guess, goals or morals, or I just started my own thing again. And this time I wanted to be different. I wanted to work out of the house. It was 2010 when I started this company, and it was called Sure Network Solutions. And I wanted to just have 20, 25 accounts and make an okay paycheck. And because my priority at that time was to get her, she wanted to play D1 golf. So every weekend, almost every other weekend, we were at a golf tournament or we were at golf lessons. We went down to Sea Island, and she got putting lesson with Mike Shannon or something, and he worked with a lot of the LPGA players. So it was whatever she needed, I tried to give it to her.
That's what family does.
Yep.
Right? So speaking of family, so talk to me a little bit about the dynamics, right? So I worked with my brother for a while, and it was great. We had some conflicts, right? But it was overall great. Tell me how that works for you, having a family business in that sense.
It's good. I mean, of course, my dad and I butt heads, but we're also very driven people. So when we have a goal between the two of us, we'll get to it. We're also lucky because my mom works with us. So it's a true family
really
business.
A family business.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. So my mom does the admin side stuff. We kind of do the running of the sales and the marketing, and he does the whole tech side and things like that. So it's been good. Of course, we have our ups and downs, but
of course. So you guys opened a new office in Charleston, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now who was the one behind wanting to do that?
Well, mostly when I moved up to Charleston and kind of started having grandbabies, my mom was persistent on coming up as well. So when she
It's always
came
the
up,
mom that's the one that drives the decision.
yeah.
It's a happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So when she came up, we decided it was just best at the time to kind of open a second location and grow.
Okay. So you have two now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any thoughts about more, or what's the thoughts there?
Well, I think now one of the other reasons we wanted to open up in Charleston is it's a big market. We've been in this area I've been doing IT in this area since '96. And it is a smaller mom and pop type culture here. A lot of the businesses, you work with the owners, the business owner, in Charleston, it's total different dynamics. You're working with, you don't even know the owner of some of these companies.
Yeah.
You're working with either a board or a general manager or a regional manager. So it's total different dynamics, but they're bigger companies. So here our average clients, 10, 15 employees at a company. In Charleston, we have two companies, two of the biggest, are two of our three companies in Charleston. One's 60, 70 employees, the other one's 40, 50 employees.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Different
one
dynamic.
client there is like 10 here.
So how do you manage that dynamic going from dealing with the smaller business to now dealing with the larger companies where you're not really interacting with the owner now? So maybe the relationship is important, but maybe a little bit less important. How does that work? Do you handle that part? Do you handle that part? How does that work?
That's mostly him.
Okay.
I mean, we're big on whether you have 2 employees or 50 employees. We're really big on that relationship and communication. So we don't really care how small or big you are. We want a partnership with who our clients are going to be and how can we help you grow. That's kind of our motto and our goal. So whether it's big or not, I don't think there's any difference on our side.
So you handle it. Okay.
Well, we're consistent. So whether you have 2 computers or 50 computers or 50 users, we bring on the client the same way. There may be some different nuances or just, with what they're doing and maybe different workflows for certain things. They have this many remote people, but we do the same thing. We're very consistent. We document everything. We label and audit devices, the network infrastructures. We have a standard that we do for security, for manageability. We want to be able to remote into everything. So we don't want to drive. If you have an emergency, if we can fix you remotely in 15 minutes, it's better than driving there, especially with this traffic now.
Of course.
So and our VP of service, Robert, he's come from a big company up north. So he was able to help us to set this foundation that allows us to be able to handle a client, no matter what their size is.
So what do you guys think, what type of qualities do you think are important for an entrepreneur?
Well, I think a little bit of stubbornness.
That's fair. That's fair.
You can't give up. You gotta be resilient. I also think you gotta have some integrity. If you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, especially in a small market, I think it was my grandfather told me, the odds are always stacked against you. If you make one person happy, they're going to tell two people. You upset one person, they're going to tell 25.
100%.
And this was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's more like 5,000. They'll get on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta do what you say you're going to do. And Sammie knows if I tell a client I'm going to do something, I will lose money on a project before I fail a client.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about that one project or that whatever we did, that task. I want to be consistent with them for 10 years.
Yep.
Like we've had some clients since 1996.
And I think consistency is probably underrated when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, because people want to know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's that inconsistency where they start to ask questions. Oh, well, maybe there's another person that could help me. That consistency, I think, is really important.
No, I totally agree.
Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I believe that's situational.
Okay.
I think when I meet with a lot of people, so when you meet with clients, you have to read the situation. So if it's one of those where I got to get them excited about a solution, because nobody's going to buy anything from you or trust you to work on their office, which is their livelihood, if they don't trust you.
Correct.
So you got to be able to read the situation. And if I need them to get excited about it, I'll be more of an extrovert.
Okay.
And if I just needed to listen to them, and because they're upset with their previous IT person or IT company, I bring myself in and I listen. I slow it down a little bit, and I be a little more patient. So to me, it's situational.
So you seems like you think a lot about this stuff. Where do you think that came from in your upbringing, right?
I think mainly because it came from, I have ADHD. So being told I think before I speak has never been, I've never gotten that. I usually, whatever hits my head goes out. But as I've matured, I've learned to slow down, try to listen more than you talk. Like the old saying, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yep.
So
I've said this twice already with 2 other guests today. I live by a motto: it's better to be interested than interesting. It's better to be interested than interesting, because when you listen, people want to be heard, right? And when you listen, they know they're being heard, and they're more open to doing what you suggest they do.
That took a little bit to register for me. I apologize, but that does make a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. So that's important. And in business is important, right? So what was some pivotal moments? Were there some moments in this business where it could have gone either way, or, hey, we need to make this decision, and that decision turned out to be a really good one that accelerated the business? Maybe I'll give this question to you. Anything in there?
Well, I'm still fairly new. You know, I've only been with him for 4 years. I mean, I've kind of done some background stuff, on the side, but I think we're getting to that point on the revenue side that we have to start making some hard decisions to get to where we want to go.
Okay.
And things like opening up a new location and trying to take those like hurt moments now as far as cash flow or whatever, that hopefully we'll have a turnaround in the next year or two. So we are kind of starting to feel a little bit of the pains as far as our growing. But I think we have a bright future that's going to take a turn pretty soon.
That's funny because growing pains goes, you can be successful and still have growing pains, right? And it's how you handle those growing pains. Just like in life, when you get a conflict, how do you handle that conflict? That's what's going to determine whether it turns out to be better or worse.
Yes, sir.
Somebody once told me that conflict is good because either if the negative aspect, especially with the person, happens, then maybe that person wasn't for you. But if something good happens, it solidifies the relationship even more.
Right.
So you can make a mistake, but it's how you deal with that mistake.
No, I agree. It feels like if I try to force a relationship with a client, because you get some clients, they just don't they think going online and buying a $200 computer from Amazon or eBay and throwing in a $50 switch from Best Buy, and they're good with that. And you can't turn that client into a client that knows they need a firewall, they need a managed switch, they need to spend $1,500 on a workstation just because of everything they're doing. And I've learned over the years to recognize that type of client early, so we don't waste each other's time.
That's right. I mean, you want to deal with the people that need and want your services. You can't make them do it.
Yeah, they have to value the technology, and if they don't see value in it, then that's not the type of client we want.
I find it interesting that no matter who we have here, what business, it's all about relationships.
That's all it is.
Partnerships
Any business,
and relationships.
right?
Yep.
Technology. I'm in wealth management. We had somebody on here that made the tops for when you're golfing, right?
Yep.
When you're doing your driving range, they make the tops to that. That's all about relationships. It's really amazing to me. So in your business, right? So when you first started in your business to where it is now, how's it changed?
When you say how's it changed, is like the
IT
evolving
in
or
general?
technology?
Yeah.
Well, technology in general, it changes every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think when I first got into being an owner and trying to build up my first IT company, it was really about the technology, trying to keep your certifications up, stay on the technicians about their ongoing education. And that was the first go around. My second go around, I learned the technology is always going to change. And I've learned our true asset at SNS is the relationships, our employees. Yeah. And instead of just trying to focus on something that's going to change every 6 months, our employees can be with me. I had one with me for 16 years. He went from one company to another with me.
That's right.
But those are going to be consistent. So now I've learned to work the relationship internally and not the technology. It seems to work better for us.
It's good. So just quickly, so you sold your business. If someone's going to be selling their business soon, what advice would you give them?
Have somebody look at the contract and knows what they're doing so you don't get screwed over like I did.
Okay.
We were like 30, what was I, 20 in 2008? Yeah, I was 31. And we didn't know a lot of things. We didn't know what, when we got a percentage of the profit for the year, me and Shane, we didn't know what corporate allocations meant. So our first year with this company, we kept up with our own numbers, and we busted our butts because we wanted that 25% on top of our salary.
Yeah, of course.
And in our spreadsheet, which apparently was not right, we profited close to 200 grand that year. So Shane and I thought we were going to be splitting 50K. We were like, we already had it spent,
Of course.
And then when we sat down with Mike and we found out that we didn't profit anything because of corporate allocations. He had 5 locations.
Oh, wow.
And even though we had our own IT location, we didn't work out of any of them. We did our own billing. We still had to pay for all of his billing people. We paid a percentage to all the other locations where we didn't have any clients. So we learned a lesson there.
Okay. So for someone who's going to do it, make sure you read the contract. And now you can just run it through AI too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't have anything like that.
Yeah. So this is a discussion about wealth, right? So we always end it off with, how has your definition of wealth evolved over the years? So when you first started working to where it is now, and maybe it's the same, you tell me.
No, I don't think it is. I think when, if you'd asked the 21-year-old Michael who just started ICC with all these big dreams of being the next Bill Gates,
There you go.
We associated wealth with finance, with money in our pockets, or the type of car we drive. And that's because we grew up. That's what baseball players, they're wealthy. They have a Lamborghini.
Yep.
So that would, in the house you live in. Asking the 51-year-old, that grandfather now.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. A lot of hard work on it. I guess it's the relationships now. And then we always come back to relationships. It's my family. It's my 6 dogs. It's
6?
Yeah.
I mean, I love animals, but 6 is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
We're very big animal people. It's like
I love
we
animals.
end up adopting a little kitty. We've only had it for 3 weeks because our office in Ravenel, I'm leaving a cat there, and I tell her, and she has it at the vet the next day getting defleed. And she just, this morning, the little kitty found a bird's nest.
Oh, wow.
So
We have 2 birds at the
now we
office
have
right
2
now.
little baby birds in a box that we got to figure out what to do with next. So, but I think that's the wealth we like, because we get to work. We're at the point in our career that we get to do things we love to do. We get to waste half a day trying to save these 2 little birds.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could put a dollar figure on that.
Oh, I agree. All right. Well, great. I appreciate it. It's been great having you guys here. Thank
Appreciate
you.
the
And
opportunity.
I'm sure we'll
Thanks for
see you.
having us.
Yes, sir.